We have some super thanks to get to, as often, not quite always, but pretty damn close to it there. Sean Lee comeback season. Sam is somewhat kidding, but I do miss prime and healthy Sean Lee, as I think most of us do. Mighty Ant, see if Shaquille Leonard from the Colts and both linebackers from the Bears and Frankie Luvo are available. I don't think Shaquille Leonard's going to be available. The Colts are kind of decent this year, so I get my hopes up there. Tremaine Edmonds, they spent too much money, not going to be available. Maybe TJ Edwards are. Maybe that's the route you're going to go. Frankie Luvo, I think is maybe the best name of that grouping, like realistic name. I think you want him to rush the passer still, and that kind of overlaps a little bit with Micah, but I would not be mad if they traded for him. I don't think they're going to, though. So will the Cowboys make a trade? 1 for yes or 0 for no? Sound off in the comment section. Marcus Arnold, I'm not saying all of the Houston defense are because of this, but it's worth looking at. Were the bad plays that Wilson and Kearse had at linebacker? If so, you need more than one new linebacker. The main problem I have here, and this also kind of plays into Mighty Ant Super Chat, F coverage, that's what an extra safety is for. You need to stop the damn run. You play the extra safety because NFL teams are getting skinnier and faster. It is not the throwback days of 240-pound backs and your linebackers weigh 250. The game's changed. And unless you're in a too-high shell, which even the most too-high shell, usage teams, those cover two-man under looks, they're not in there that much. Outside of the exceptions, like the Bears last year, or the Bears under Lovie Smith, I should say. So you're in the box. So that safety might not be playing linebacker necessarily, but he's playing de facto linebacker. And you need those guys to still be able to do your run fits properly. And guys that hit those run fits last year, Donovan Wilson, Jayron, Kearse, have not hit it this season. Blood Slinger, thanks. I think the Cowboys do with Waletzko and Wright are able to return. This came in before the news. Nahshon Wright activated from IR, designated to return, I should say, designated to return from IR. Let's go for now. Wait and see. CJ DeYoung III has a rant. So we're going to let him cook. All right, Tom, here's my rant. Dak is not, and will not be the future of the Cowboys. He cannot carry this team. He cannot overcome any team deficiencies on game day. Stop being fanboys. Here's history. 28 years of nothing. I remember greatness. This is crap and has been for 28 years. What we had for the last 28 years. The freaking Giants won 2 Super Bowls in 10 years with Eli. Our team is a joke. America's team only because the Joneses gross the most money. I understand that the pain and frustration, so you are heard and acknowledged. I'll be the therapist, I guess, which we need sometimes, man. Also, kind of speaks to a point I've had before. It's been 8 years of Dak, but 28 years of failure. And that all gets thrown on his shoulders. And the next guy, barring a win in the near future, will also have that on his shoulders. What I think the conversation has to be, the conversation cannot be, is Dak good? We know the answer. Dak is a good quarterback. The question is, for the way this Cowboys team wants to operate, will continue to operate, is it good enough? That's the question we have to answer. And the answer could very well be, you know what, Dak's a quarterback good enough to win a Super Bowl. It just might not be with this team. And that's kind of a scary thought, by the way, because that means it's more systemic than just one player or one coach or whatever. So this team, can Dak Prescott win a Super Bowl? With the way the offense is being run, I have no confidence in it. If this continues, you need radical change next year. What do you think? Pin comment, Y for yes, N for no. PrizePicks, today's show. They made it all possible. We appreciate their support here. And if you haven't already got going with them, you need to. It is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you watch the winnings roll in. It is the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform in North America. Here are my picks this week. Hopefully I don't look dumb. I went with the flex play this week. I took the coward's way out. Trevor Lawrence, more than passing yards. Kenneth Walker, at least 1 rushing score, and Cooper Kupp, more than receiving yards. I'll probably do a Cowboys-Chargers only one, but I don't feel confident right now to make my picks there. So go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Link will be in the comments and the description. Again, that's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS. Tan fam, should we trade for Jeudy or Sutton? Look, you can make an argument for it. Are the Cowboys going to? I don't think so. I think they're too committed to this Lamb, Gallup, and Cooks, and even maybe Tolbert combination that they're not going to be willing to spend what other teams are going to be able to spend. I also, last year I would have said yes. This year I genuinely don't think so. I think what you need to do is do a better job with your scheme. I don't think your scheme is setting up your wide receivers to have success. I don't. Justin, if we fire Mike, I'm hesitant to give Dan Quinn the job because I prefer an offensive coach, and we won't get one to be an offensive coordinator. I'll take it a step further. I am hesitant to hire Dan Quinn because that's not really change. That's not the radical change I just mentioned. It's not. It's making these little minor tweaks. And who would be Dan Quinn's offensive coordinator? It's probably going to be Brian Schottenheimer, isn't it? And that's just like, oh, my car's having issues. Okay, well, what'd you do to fix it? I took it for a car wash. Well, okay, cool. The engine's leaking radiator fluid. Should probably get that checked out, right? It was dirty. Okay, yes. But does that fix the crux of your issue? I don't think so. You have some really good pieces in place. Coaches and players. I think Dan Quinn counts as a good coach. But think about it this way. Who was the last mediocre play caller / offensive coordinator / mind, if you want to group in, Peyton's ear when he was the de facto OC in Denver? Who was the last one to win a Super Bowl? Who was the last mediocre one to do it? It's not, can't really think of one, can you? Darrell, can the Cowboys get, or maybe Daryl, can Cowboys get Patrick Surtain? If you trade 2 firsts, a day 3 pick, and maybe more, sure. I don't foresee the Cowboys doing that, and maybe even Denver saying yes. So I would not get my hopes up for that one. I know everyone wants him. I get it. He's awesome. Don't see it happening. Now, do you want the Cowboys to make some trades? Type T for let's wheel and deal. H for you would rather hold at the moment. Ecuador man AOG, if Dable and McCarthy get canned, Dable head coach in your opinion? I mean, yeah, I think he's better. We can go back and forth. There's much like this conversation we've had with McCarthy, that the quarterback gets blamed when the head coach gets game, right? That's fair. But I think it's inverse in New York. I don't think Daniel Jones is that good. I think Dable and even Kafka are better.